Dear students, now let us consider motion of objects in fluids. When a metallic sphere is dropped in a long infinite column of liquid, the motion of the sphere is opposed by viscous forces in the liquid. These viscous forces depend on the size and shape of the body, its velocity, and nature of the fluid as given by Stokes' law. Once again, let us see. These viscous forces depend on size and shape of the body, its velocity, and nature of fluid. Nature of fluid means coefficient of viscosity. So, as given by Stokes' law. So, Stokes, scientist, in his law, he derived an expression, and that expression tells you how the viscous force depends upon size and shape of the body, its velocity, and nature of the fluid. So now we are going to derive Stokes' law. Suppose we have taken a round object, a steel body, this is or a lead shot, and here you have taken a glycerin in a beaker and you dropped a lead shot into the glycerin. Suppose the lead shot is moving down with 5 meter per second velocity. When it is coming down, it drags the fluid downward with it. So here the fluid layer which is in touch with the sphere moves with same velocity, and adjacent to that another layer will move along with the lead shot with a little less velocity, that is 4 meter per second. Another layer adjacent to that move down with 3 meter per second velocity, and another layer beside that with 2 meter per second velocity. So in this way the fluid is moving along with the sphere down, but with different layers with different velocities. And now if you hold this in this manner, see how we can understand this. Suppose this lead shot is moving with 5 meter per second velocity. Under that the layer is having 4 meter per second velocity. So this layer tries to stop the sphere by applying viscous force or a frictional force in opposite direction. Similarly, you can say the layer with 3 meter per second velocity exerts this layer tries to decrease its velocity, which is moving with 4 meter per second. So by applying a force in opposite direction. So or in another way, the layer which is moving with 2 meter per second velocity tries to decrease the velocity of a layer with 3 meter per second velocity by applying some force in opposite directions. So all these layers are applying force in opposite direction to the motion, that is in this direction, and this is force of friction, or this is force of viscosity, and this viscous force according to Stokes is directly proportional to, so let me write here, the viscous force is directly proportional to number 1, coefficient of viscosity. Second one, Radius of spherical body. Radius of spherical body. Third one, velocity of the body. Velocity of the spherical body. So here you can write the viscous force is directly proportional to eta, r and v. So now we write F is equal to some constant of proportionality eta, r and v. But here we don't know. See, viscous force is directly proportional to these three physical quantities, but to what power? That we don't know. So then what we can do? We can write the powers like this. Power B, power C. Here also A, B and C. And to what power? That if you want to know, we can make use of dimensional analysis. To find values of A, B and C, we make use of dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis. For that purpose, we need dimensional formulas. First, force. Dimensional formula of force. ml t power minus 2. Dimensional formula of eta. So, for that purpose, what we can do? Viscous force is directly proportional to strain. Strain means delta L by L, rate, strain rate. So F by A is equal to eta into delta x by L into delta T. Now eta is equal to F by A into L into delta T by delta x. So here for force ml t power minus 2, this is L square, this L, this time, this L, L and L gets cancelled, here one L gets cancelled. So we get ml power minus 1 and here plus 1, here minus 2, minus 1. So ml minus 1 t minus 1, and dimensional formula of r, radius L. Here velocity, dimensional formula of velocity is L t power minus 1. So now substituting this in this equation, we get ml t power minus 2 is equal to here force on left hand side, and on right hand side eta m L minus 1 t minus 1 in power A r L power B velocity L t power minus 1 c. So here m power A, now L power minus A, here plus B, here plus C, and here t power minus A and here minus c. So now equating the exponents on both sides. First, comparing exponents of m. See here m power a and here m power 1. A is equal to 1. We get a is equal to 1. Now comparing exponents of L. Here minus, so let us compare this t. First let us compare the exponents of t. Minus a minus c is equal to minus 2. Minus a minus c is equal to minus 2. So in place of 1 let us substitute minus 2. So c is equal to minus 1 plus 2 is equal to 1. Now comparing exponents of L. Minus a plus b plus c is equal to 1. A value 1, b value don't know, c value 1 is equal to 1. 1 and 1 gets cancelled and b is equal to 1. So we got the values. Substituting the values, F is equal to, the viscous force is equal to K into eta power 1 R power 1 V power 1. And so this is the formula. This is Stokes law. This is Stokes law. The value of a constant of proportionality is determined by performing an experiment, and experimentally K value was found to be 6 pi. Therefore F is equal to 6 pi eta RV. So this is the Stokes law for viscosity, viscous force, for viscous force. Stokes law for viscous force. When you drop a lead shot into a liquid, it will move downward, and after some time it starts moving down with a constant velocity, and that constant velocity is called terminal velocity. And now see, you will understand how this attains a constant velocity. Initially it will be accelerated. Initially it comes down with the velocity increasing, but after some time it comes down with a constant velocity, and that constant velocity is called terminal velocity. Now we are going to derive an expression for the terminal velocity. Okay, now you have taken a lead shot which has a spherical shape, and its radius is r, its density is rho, falling under gravity through a fluid of density sigma. See here, the solid density is rho and this fluid density is sigma, and its radius is r. Okay, once you drop the body into the liquid, how many forces work on that body? How many forces work and in which direction they work? So first of all, it has some mass, and therefore on that gravitational force, gravitational pull works vertically downward, and that will be the first force. First force, what is that? Gravitational force. Gravitational force vertically downward, vertically downward. Gravitational force working on an object is nothing but its weight or weight. Okay, one force you have identified. What is any other force working? See, previously we studied about viscosity. Viscosity means force of friction. When a body is moving through a fluid, that fluid offers some resistance to the motion of the body. If it is moving down, the fluid tries to stop that. So the fluid applies a force in opposite direction to the motion of the body. That is, see here the body is moving down, so the force of friction will be in upward direction. So here we say the force of viscosity. So viscous force vertically upward. Why upward? Because the object, because of gravitational force, is coming down. Therefore viscous force works in opposite direction to its motion. Right. Is there any other force? If you are a swimmer and you can tell another force also. Once you immerse yourself in a lake water, you feel a force lifting you up, and that is nothing but a force of buoyancy. And here the sphere itself is immersed in a fluid, so it feels a force of buoyancy working upward. So another force is force of buoyancy vertically upward. So these three forces will be working on the sphere. So now first derive expressions for these forces. First, weight or gravitational force. See, weight or gravitational force is equal to mg. Now, since its density is given, density is equal to mass by volume, and since it has a spherical shape, the expression for its volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube. So we can write or let us write afterwards. First m is equal to rho into v. So here in place of m you can write rho into v into g. Okay, that is enough. Okay, say this is equation 1. Weight vertically downward. Weight is working vertically downward. This is working vertically downward. Now let us derive expression for force of viscous force. Second one, viscous force. For this, the expression is determined by the Stokes scientist, and that is 6 pi eta r v. 6 pi eta r v. Now third force of buoyancy. Buoyancy force. According to the principle of Archimedes, this force of how we determine the force of buoyancy. According to Archimedes principle, the force of buoyancy is equal to weight of fluid displaced by the sphere. Weight of fluid displaced by the sphere. See, weight means mass into acceleration due to gravity, and mass is nothing but density into volume. Okay. Now here you considered weight of sphere. So here you wrote density of sphere, and now you are considering weight of fluid. Therefore here you must consider density of fluid. Density of fluid is sigma. So sigma into volume. Then how much volume is displaced? The volume displaced by the sphere will be, suppose its volume is, the volume of sphere is some 10 cc. It will also displace the same volume of fluid. The volume of the fluid displaced by it also will be 10 cc. That is, volume of the fluid displaced is just equal to volume of the sphere itself. Therefore V will be same, and G value. So this gives you weight of fluid displaced by the sphere. So now we got we derived expressions for all the three forces. So see, the weight is working downward, whereas these two forces are working upward. So now let us consider the effect of the three forces on the sphere with numerically. See here, suppose, see, the gravitational force on this sphere is, say, some 10 newtons. Force of buoyancy which is working vertically upward is, say, 2 newtons. See, these two forces, see, gravitational force is rho Vg, where rho is the density of the sphere, V is volume of the sphere, G is anyhow constant. Volume also constant, its volume is constant, its density is constant. Therefore, gravitational force on this body will be a constant. Therefore, each time I wrote the same value. Next, force of buoyancy. When it is immersed in a fluid, a vertically upward force works on it, and that is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the sphere. See, the weight of the fluid displaced means G value constant and volume also same. The same volume is displaced, and the density of fluid also a constant. That's why force of buoyancy will remain the same. Therefore, same numerical value is written here. Next, coming to the viscous force. Here, viscous force depends upon eta, r and v. Eta value, coefficient of viscosity, and radius of the sphere, these two are constants, but velocity, it is not a constant. As the body is coming down, its velocity increases because it is accelerated by the force of gravity. Its velocity continuously increases. See, if velocity increases, the viscous force also increases. So we will be giving the increased values for this. Okay. Now we have chosen a last column, the net force downward. This weight is working up downward and these two are working upward. So net force is taken downward, therefore this minus sum of these two gives you the net force downward. You look at the diagram. The net force downward means the net force is taken downward means this is taken positive. That is taken positive. And opposite forces are taken negative. So the net force downward is nothing but this. This is the net force working downward. Therefore, the same thing we have written here. Now, let us substitute here. W means 10. 10 minus 2 plus 3. 5. 10 minus 5, 5 newtons. See, on that body, some net force is working in the downward direction. So according to Newton's second law, the net force F net is equal to ma. When net force is working downward, it accelerates the body. Accelerating means increasing the velocity. Okay, so here its velocity increases, therefore next time let us take 4 newtons. Now 10 minus 2 plus 4 newtons. Still net force is working on the body, so it will be accelerated. So it means its velocity increases. So next, velocity increased because of net force downward. So now since velocity increased, viscous force this time became 5 newtons. Now 10 minus 2 plus 5, 3 newtons. Net force is working, so velocity increases. Net force working, velocity increases. Still net force is working downward, velocity increases. This time net force downward became 0. Now net force downward became 0 means, let me write here, F net is equal to ma is equal to 0. Suppose ma is equal to 0, a is equal to 0 by m is equal to 0. Acceleration 0 means what? It is not accelerated. It is not accelerated means velocity is not increasing. That means velocity is constant. So now, since net force is 0, now the body is not accelerated. Now its velocity will be kept constant. If velocity is kept constant, this force won't increase, so it will remain 8 only. And net force will remain 0 only. So now, at a particular velocity, when the velocity reached a particular value, when v became equal to v2, see here, for a particular value of velocity, we got viscosity, this value. We got this value for when V is equal to Vt. When V is equal to Vt. For a particular velocity value, you got viscous force this much. So now the net force is 0, therefore it is moving down with constant velocity. It will be moving down with constant velocity now. So we have to derive expression for this velocity. So what we write? At when V is equal to Vt, net force downward is becoming 0. Let us write. At V is equal to Vt, net downward force is equal to 0. What is the net downward force? W minus Fb plus F eta is equal to 0. Then what we can write? W is equal to Fb plus F eta. Now let us substitute the values. See, the values are already derived here. See, for W, rho V G. For Fb, sigma V G. And viscous force 6 pi eta r. Here V said V is equal to Vt, so I write here Vt. Now making this subject 6 pi eta r Vt is equal to rho Vg minus sigma Vg. That is Vg can be taken common. Okay. Now 6 pi eta r Vt. Vt is equal to into 1 by 6 pi eta r. 6 pi eta r. But volume of sphere V is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube. Substituting that value here, Vt is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube into G into 1 by 6 pi eta r. Here 1 r, here this becomes 2. Now pi value will remove, 2 2s are 2 3s are. So here we get, see this G value already we have written here. It came repeated. Okay, now 2 r square G, 2 r square G by 3 3s are 9 eta, 9 eta into sigma rho minus sigma. So this is expression for terminal velocity. Here this terminal velocity is depending upon, say from this you can observe which are the constants, which are the variables. See here G value is a constant and Vt directly proportional to r square, and Vt inversely proportional to eta. See, Vt directly proportional to r square means if surface area, see what is the formula for surface area of a sphere? Surface area of sphere is 4 pi r square. 4 pi r square. So that is a surface area is directly proportional to r square. So Vt is directly proportional to r square means terminal velocity is directly proportional to surface area. If surface area increases, its terminal velocity also increases. Okay, next one. But terminal velocity is inversely proportional to coefficient of viscosity. That means if the coefficient of viscosity increases, terminal velocity decreases. So this you can easily identify. Suppose you drop a marble in water, it quickly falls down. If you drop the same marble in honey, which has more coefficient of viscosity, in that marble comes down slowly. It means what? Its terminal velocity is very less. So like that it is inversely proportional to coefficient of viscosity. And I have added a video by NCRT to this. You can understand very well. You really enjoy the concept of viscosity, Stokes law, terminal velocity, all these things.